Hello and welcome to the 2025 NEC Classic Motor Show, the finale for the classic car world, where we bring together our favourite cars, clubs and people to celebrate our love of old cars one more time before we put them all away for the winter. We're going to go for a walk around of this eclectic and fantastic show as ever, but this year's video is a little bit different because for those of you that couldn't make it this year, you've never been, or you're watching from abroad and you've never been to the Classic Motor Show before, you're going to see the show through my eyes, a point of view walk around of what is arguably Britain's biggest and best classic car show. So without further ado, let's go for a look around. It's the clubs that make the show, so we have to give another mention to West London Classics. This stand just stood out to me for the cars it's got on it. Mark II Granada 2.8i Gear X, the absolute Mac Daddy of Mark II Granadas, and look at it. It's got its 1984 tax disc in there, it's got the polished gear spec wheels like Jess Fiesta had. Look at those plush leather armchairs in there. This is beautiful. This is one of my absolute favourite Fords. I love a Granada, and this one, probably the nicest Mark II I've ever seen. That absolutely deserves to be shown. Next up over here, we've got an R129 SL titled the Rude Bends, as you can see. It's slammed, it's on kind of dished Penta style wheels. It's got the gingicators. It's stunning. I really like it. It's just clean and classy, proper 90s American spec. This one is an A124 Mercedes 320, which is a nice spec, it's a nice car in its own right, but this one, not entirely standard. You might notice it's a bit lower, it's got some nice AMG monoblocks on it, but also, as well as the immaculate interior, round the back, you'll notice that badge, TT. That's because this one has got a Turbo Technics twin turbo conversion, as well as the awesome car phone there. 387 horsepower in this thing. That's unbelievable, but it still looks for all the world like just a cool, classy 90s Mercedes cruiser. Huge fan of that. And just to finish off, Dodge Charger. I mean, say no more. Just what a winning combination. Shout out to West London Classics. You guys you win. You just win. Next up, another owners club shout out, the Saab owners club, and these guys always put on a fine display. Straight off 900 turbo Carlson, possibly the coolest Saab ever made, and this one is a beauty. Look at this, 270,000 miles, and it looks like it's done 2.7 miles. Look at it, absolutely gorgeous with the red pinstripe. Yes, that is Saab bedroom wall poster stuff. Another nice 900 turbo Carlson here in red, absolutely beautiful. You get bonus points for headlight wipers there. Big fan. But if we come around here past this beautiful little 93, which in itself is lovely, this is what's getting all the attention. It's a 95, which is effectively a 96 estate, if you like. But this one, not entirely standard. For a start, you'll notice it's on custom air ride suspension, which is why it sits so low. It's also been rear-wheel drive converted using an MGB rear axle. Under the bonnet, heresy, you might argue, not a Saab engine, the Volvo B20, the 2-litre turbo you get in cars like the 740, the 940, and this thing is tuned as well. It's got a lovely little turbo tuck down in there. This is incredible, isn't it? A proper example of taking what is already a cool and quirky classic and making it stand out. It is stunning. The fact it's been beautifully presented is just the icing on the cake. And look inside, you can see how the rear end and all the differential and what have you works. It's beautiful, isn't it? Now, yes, it's not original, and some Saab purists will argue it should never have a Volvo engine, and that's heresy in its own right. But you know what? A bit of everything here brought together in a fantastic finished product. Let us know in the comments, what do you think? I personally adore this. Next up, we're going to look at an iconic classic, a proper bedroom wall poster material, possibly the best car ever made. Not that, this. 1978 Mercedes W123 250. This is on the Mercedes-Benz Club stand. And the 250 petrol, for those of you that are 123 nerds will know, this is a very rare spec. Only 4% of all W123s were ordered as a 250 petrol because it sat between two stools. It wasn't as frugal as the 230, nor as meaty as the 280, and as a result, quite a rare choice. Used a lot for the limousines, bizarrely, the V123, and this one, very unusual spec. It's got no wood, it's got wind-up windows, but it's got leather and a sunroof. And in 2024, it won Best Saloon at the Mercedes-Benz Club annual day. It's got the original race digit number plates. It's beautiful. You can tell it's an earlier series car by the fact it's got the individual circular lights as opposed to the rectangular ones which you get on the later cars, and it is magnificent, isn't it? I'm not going to deny this is cleaner than my own car, and it's going to be a bit more powerful, but any 123 is a winner in my book. I love that, probably more than that actually. The Historic Rally Festival stand is a real treat for those of you into your retro rally cars. 205 T16, absolutely magnificent, and it is the real deal. All the spotlights, the massive wide arch kit, and you can see by all the intakes, it's mid-engined. I mean, just absolutely beside myself. That alone would be a real treat. Moving along here, a beautiful Lotus Cortina. It's got sibbies, it's got mini lights, it's clearly used but kept beautifully. And look at this thing, absolutely gorgeous. Lotus Cortina is just proper rallying hero in its own right, and we love them. This one, not sure if it's genuine or a rep, but it's a beautiful example. But compared to this, Talbot Sunbeam Lotus, one of my absolute favourite cars. It's one of the most fun cars I've ever driven. This one done up with the proper Lombard RAC Works livery on it. It's got more spotlights than a Pink Floyd gig. It's absolutely epic, and I'm sure this is one of the most enjoyable cars to drive at this show, complete with, of course, the dogleg gearbox in there, all the bits and pieces, the cage, the spare wheel. It's used, it's abused, but it's stunning in that retro rally car way. I'm a little bit speechless looking at this. It's one of my hero cars, just epic, epic stuff. 3 cars that are bedroom wall poster material. Directly opposite the NSU RO80 Club, which itself is worth an exhibition. Look at this, 3 rotaries that made it to the show under their own power. You've got to love that. Is the Lancaster Insurance Pride of Ownership area. Now, this is where owners display beautifully presented cars that they are properly proud of to vie for votes from the public for who deserves to win, for the best story, the owner with the best connection to their car. And the selection this year is almost unrivaled. I mean, look, 205 GTI with a dimmer wide-body kit and a Turbo Technics turbo conversion. Awesome. Over here, unbelievably clean Mark 1 Fiesta. Look at this thing. No Ford rot in this thing. Unbelievably tidy. That's beautiful. I'll be fair. A lovely little Daihatsu Charade GTTI, the twin cam turbo one. These are so rare but so cool on me. How many cars do you get with a grille like that? That's so cool. I believe those wheels are off an R50 Mini, but do correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Nice little Astra Coupe RS 1600i Escort there. Beautiful Mustang. This is getting an awful lot of attention. And Renault 8 Gordini. There's a video on one of these on the channel. Do go and watch it if you haven't already. This is stunning, isn't it? I absolutely love the Gordini. Such a hoot to drive, proper rallying hero. And this one, absolutely immaculate, getting a lot of attention. I want this. This is one of my sort of dream cars in many ways. Owned by Mr. Mark Riley. And Mark, you deserve all the attention it's getting because it's beautiful. Love, love that. But also, for a very different reason, love this. A Metro City van. When did you last see? There can't be any of these left, surely. Absolutely immaculate condition. This hasn't been worked hard for life, has it? Look at the vinyl seats, look at blanking plugs galore in there, look at all the trim that's really, really nicely well kept. Not been sign written, but it's just beautiful. Look at those tiny little steel wheels. When did you last see? Look, it's even got the original Rover brochure with it. And it looks like it's delivering an MG Maestro wheel there if you look very carefully. This is absolutely lovely. What a charming little thing. There's so little to it, but it's so lovable. There's over here a Citroen Berlingo van of all things, but probably the nicest Berlingo van I've ever seen. I've seen these brand new at dealers and they're not as good as this. This is unbelievably clean. Look at this thing. No camper conversions or dodgy plasterers board and what have you in the back there. This is just the nicest example of a Citroen Berlingo I think I have ever seen. And these are coming into their own as a bit of a modern quirky classic in their own right here. So you know what? I think this, every bit as deserving to be here as that million horsepower Focus RS. Just what a thing. One thing that really warms my heart at this show is seeing that once unloved marks and models getting the attention from enthusiasts that they deserve. For a start, the Morris Marina and Ital register. They've got everything. They've got an Austin badged Marina van here, a convertible Marina, surely one of only a handful left, TC as well, an Ital, and this lovely example here, the coupe with its vinyl roof and its stripes, absolutely beautiful. There's the Van and Plas Club there with a Maestro and a VP 750. There's obviously the Maestro and Montego Owners Club here with a lovely MG, and this is one of the later ones, absolutely stunning, and the Allegro Club International, celebrating the infamous Austin Allegro. This car here, by no means standard. If you follow the Classics World socials, you might recognise it at Facebook and Instagram. Do go and follow us. It's by no means standard. I'm not going to delve into detail here because we are going to do a full feature on it. It's magnificent and we love this. We'll come back to it. But then just for a bit of contrast, a completely standard one here. Charming, isn't it? Lovely. Nice to see all these cars getting attention. The square steering wheel in there with the vinyl. Big thumbs up. Just, we love it. The unloved getting loved. That's what this show is all about. It's variety that draws us to this show more than anything. And if you want variety, the Gay Classic Car Group have got it in abundance. Look at their stand here. This lovely Austin 7, beautifully patinated. That's clearly used. Vauxhall PA Cresta. Probably the nicest one I've seen for years. Look at this thing. Absolutely immaculate. Proper British scale Americana. A Toyota Celica convertible. When did you last see one of these babies? Look at those seats. Oh, so Japanese, so 80s. Massive, massive automatic shifter there and the pop-up headlights. This is cool. I'd love to see a GT4 conversion, one of those. Mercedes W108, quite a rare chassis these days. The 300, the 3 litre, the big boy, and it is, again, absolutely gorgeous, but clearly used, and that is what we love. I'm going to show you insert because it's white with a blue interior, so it's sort of a older scale W108 spec version of my own 123, so I love that. But if you love your white classics, Citroen AX. Oh, just shout out to the AX. What a quirky, cool, fantastic little super mini. This one, hardly anything in the way of features, but so clean, isn't it? No rev counter, just a massive clock so you can time your 0 to 60. There's all the brochures and what have you. This is a debut edition, and it's a debut single if ever I've seen one. A Sierra, but not anything fancy, not an XR4 or a Cosworth. A 1.8 LX with forward wheel trims, beautifully clean bumpers, just so nice. Probably one of the nicest non-sporty Sierras I've seen. Certainly it's something for our one to aspire to. We love that. And then a Peugeot 205, complete with all the brochures and lovely leather interior. An automatic 205, I've just noticed. That's quite rare. And the full sliding cassette sunroof. Variety in abundance. We love it with the GCCG, and this year's stand is as special as we always expect for them. Big fan. It's become tradition at this point for us to pay a visit to our friends at Cairns Classics in Norfolk. We went to them very recently to drive some of their cars. We love these guys because they are just lovely people with incredible cars, and this year's stand is no different. Beautiful 1972 Hillman Imp, gorgeous, love the colour. A stunningly orange Triumph 1300 TC, that's gorgeous. Along here, a Triumph 1500, its successor, surely one of the nicest ones left. Absolutely immaculate, we're a big fan of that. Morris Minor Traveller, I have driven this one, not for a video, just for a bit of fun, because they don't come much funner in this package than a Morris Traveller. Here, an old friend of mine is the Rolls Royce Silver Dawn that I drove in our recent road trip. And I just love this, it's magnificent, and if I had the space and I had the money, you need over 5.5 metres to store the thing. It's beautiful, look at that metallic blue paint, and like I say, this drives like an absolute honey. That costs less than a Nissan Qashqai, and it's worth every penny. It's infinitely better, and I want it still. Lovely Jag XJ6 Series 3 there, Maserati 4200. It looks like a supercar, and it is, and it's yours for $17,995. I want this. Loads of people are just drinking this in. It is gorgeous, isn't it? Jaguar XKR. It took all of Phil's willpower not to try and buy this thing, but it could be yours. And you know what? I'm very tempted just looking at it now. 4.2 supercharged, arguably one of Jaguar's ultimate cars, and this one, lovely spec. Just take a minute. Moving along here, E46 Coupe. This will be the star of an upcoming road test video. Is it as good as a Mercedes? I'll have to wait and see for that one. E36 328i convertible, 328i manual, so it's a really nice spec. And look at this thing, one owner, 10,900 miles since new, and it's just such a special car, isn't it? Look, the grey leather in there, beautiful. This hasn't been ragged or abused or drifted. This should be a weekend cruiser and kept as such. But if you want a weekend cruiser, the Jaguar XJS V12 convertible, it's an 89, it's just before the Ford facelift. Frankly, I'd have that, I'd have the Rolls Royce. I just want all of these. Cairns never disappoint, and this year's stand, magnificent. So do make your way down to them, come and see some of their stuff. Quality's remembered, and what quality there is. In between ending Top Gear and really starting the Grand Tour, Clarkson have made is something called Drivetribe, which is these days now a bit of a YouTube channel and website as well. But the upshot is they still were involved in a lot of their old cars. For example, here we've got the famous Oliver, the Opel Kadett, the one that crossed Botswana and Richard Hammond bought afterwards and was fully restored to what must be said is a beautiful standard, that lovely kind of custard yellow. We all get that reference. Look how clean this thing is. Horizontal speedo. Still smells of Africa in there. Charming and basic and minimalist, and we love it. But if you want minimalist and small, you probably don't want this. This is the Buick Riviera boat tail that Hammond drove in the Grand Tour lockdown episode, where they drove big American cars with this enormous kind of Plymouth Roadrunner style spoiler, and just as a small addition around the front of a fairly sizable supercharger, to say nothing of the 7.5 litre V8 it's attached to. So menacing, so vast, and it still wears a lot of its Grand Tour battle scars there. You can see this has clearly had a bit of a life. It towed a caravan for about half of that special. This spoiler is not sympathetically attached. That is Sikaflex, and I think I've just got tetanus off it. But what a thing, absolutely magnificent. Drawing attention here, Richard Hammond selling royalties. I think you can hear him on stage as we speak. But it's not the only former Grand Tour car that you'll see here at the show. Because on the Monte Carlo Consortium stand, celebrating 50 years of the Lancia Monte Carlo this year, is Clarkson's Monte Carlo from the final Grand Tour episode, One for the Road, where they got to kind of pick cars that they've always wanted. And this one has some really nice tasteful modifications done. It had the Delta Integrale wheels, it's got Ferrari 308 rear lights and a lovely exhaust. Inside, kind of sporty, more modern bucket seats and a fridge, I believe. And then around the front, it's got Delta Integrale lights and grille. And you know what? I think pretty much everyone agreed this was an improvement on what was already a stunningly pretty thing. This is in lovely condition. I gather Hammond and his crew have done a bit of work to this since it came back from Africa. And you'll notice it's being flanked here, just casually, by an 037. And finally, rounding out our Top Gear and Grand Tour car collection is this on the Matra Club stand. It's a Matra Bagheera driven by Paddy McGuinness in the newer iteration of Top Gear all the way across Borneo. And you may remember it was utterly destroyed in the jungle and obviously it's had quite a hard life. And then at the end, this was painted in the rainbow flag as kind of a protest to the country's anti-LGBT views. And then after it went off to the Top Gear World Museum at Bewley, when that was closed down, the fate of this car was kind of uncertain. Did it go off to the museum in Scotland? But ultimately, it has ended up in the hands of the Matra Club here, and they've preserved it, kind of shown it as it might have been in the jungle in Borneo, and they are committed to restoring this car back to its original condition as the original brochure car that was, the only right-hand drive example of this car that's left, and it is going to be restored to that original condition eventually, but for now, it's on display in full Top Gear condition, and you know what? It's lovely to see it, because the fact that it survived that journey through the jungle, alongside an Allegro estate is worth noting, makes it noteworthy in its own right, so it will be lovely to see this car looking great again, but for now, what an off-roader. So that, oh, hang on. Sorry, force of habit. So that was the 2025 NEC Classic Motor Show, and once again this has proven to be the perfect way to see out the classic car season in style. Some incredible cars, some lovely people, some wonderful clubs, and an atmosphere like no other show. I always look forward to this show. It's a great way to see out the year, and it has been as brilliant as ever. But do make sure to let us know down below in the comments, what was your favourite car of this video? Did you come to the show? Did you enjoy it? And will we see you at next year's show? But in the meantime, do also let us know, did you enjoy the POV thing, seeing the show through my eyes? If you do, we'll do more of it in the future. But between now and then, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Classics World for weekly videos on all things classic cars, and we'll see you again very soon. Once again, we've been blocked by someone walking in front of the camera.